I welcome you all to this lesson. Today I am going to discuss a poem and the name of the poem is The Inchcape Rock, which is written by Southey. In this lesson, I will discuss the word meanings, each line explanation, along with the literary devices, moral and theme of the poem. Listen to this poem attentively and I am sure you will understand each word explained by me. So here I begin. First of all, let us discuss the title. The Inchcape Rock, which means a dangerous reef off the east coast of Scotland. The rock would protrude a few inches above the surface of the sea in low tide and be completely covered by the sea in high tide. Many ships were wrecked by the rock when it was covered by the sea. The main hazard that the reef presents to the shipping company is that only a relative portion of it was above water, but a large section of the surrounding area was extremely shallow and dangerous. Now let me tell you something about the poet. Southey was a poet laureate of England for 30 years, from 1813 to 1843. He was a poet, historian, essayist, and a biographer. He was born on 12 August 1774 in Bristol, which is in England. He was an English poet of the Romantic school, which was associated with the Lake School, along with the famous literary figures such as William Wordsworth, Samuel Taylor, Coleridge, and Charles Lamb. He died on 21st March 1843. He used to write long, heroic epics, romances, ballad, plays, etc. He was a renowned scholar of Portuguese and Spanish literature and history, translating them into English. He was elected a member of the American Antiquarian Society in 1822 and was also a member of the Royal Spanish Academy. Southey's literary ballad of Inchcape Rock was published in the year 1802. Now I'll give you a brief introduction of the poem. The poem is about a struggle which always goes on between the good and the evil forces in life and on this universe. It is said that one who digs a pit will fall into it, and whoever rolls a stone, it will come back on him. Means to say that we should never try to harm others, because it will all come back to the same person. For sometimes it seems that the winner are the evil forces, but in the end, they are always the loser. As we can see in this poem, evil action is punished over the good action. The poem takes place near a notorious sandstone reef about 18 kilometers off the sea coast of Scotland. The whole poem is written in a ballad form. The poem acquaints us how a parrot removed a bell from the Inchcape Rock and subsequently got killed, justifying the divine judgment. The poem gives us a message that those who do wrong things will meet due punishment, as it is rightly said that as you sow, so shall you reap. The Inchcape Rock is a perfect embodiment of poetic justice. We come to know about the story of the rock legend. Abbot of Rabindranath, a monk, placed a bell on the dangerous reef to warn the ships and the mariners. But one day, wicked Ralph, the pirate, removed the bell out of jealousy and selfish motive and turned the dangerous reef again into a death trap for him. But we once get to see that the poetic justice took play in the story, and at the end, when wicked Ralph was himself going through that area, his ship could not access the dangerous reef and turned out to be a victim of the deadly reef, and thus the poetic justice was made. The Inchcape Rock is a ballad, which means that a long narrative poem which tells a story. Then, the Inchcape rock is a ballad which fulfills the characteristic of a story. The poem is a big one consisting of 68 lines with 17 stanzas of 4 lines each, acquainting us with the detective story. Here we come across a pirate who cuts the bell placed on a sand reef to warn the mariners and the ships against the peril, and how the pirate on another day falls prey to the divine justice. That is, his own ship struck against the Inchcape rock and was drowned in the sea. Thus, the ballad has adventure, plundering, valor, jealousy, and a moral. Now, dear children, let's move towards the first stanza. No stir in the air, no stir in the sea. The ship was still as she could be. Her sail from heaven received no motion. Her keel was steady in the ocean. Now we'll discuss the word meanings. The word stir means movement. Still means ship was motionless. Then sail means canvas to catch wind and propel the ship. Motion means power of movement. Keel means lowest timber or steel structure on which framework of a ship is built, and steady means balance or firm. Now the explanation. In the first stanza, the poet says that there was no movement in the air as well as in the sea. Therefore, the ship was also motionless. Her sails were erect and there was no motion in them. Her keel was also well balanced, means to say that the sea was calm and quiet, and the ship sailed peacefully. No wind moved the sail unduly, and her keel was firmly set in the ocean. The literary device used in this stanza are: number 1, rhyming scheme, which means that the last word of each line is giving a musical effect. It follows the rhyming scheme of AA, BB, which means that the line 1 and 2 has the repetition of one sound, and 3 and 4 has another sound in it. And the words are sea, B, motion, and ocean. The second literary device used in this stanza is alliteration, which means that a close repetition of a consonant sounds at the beginning of the words to facilitate narration, as the ship was still as she could be. The third literary device used is the personification, that is, a figure of speech in which either an inanimate object or an abstract concept is spoken of as though it were endowed with the human attributes or feelings. For example, the ship was sailing, the ship was still as she could be. So, the meaning the ship is an inanimate object is referred to as a lady. The next one is the repetition, which means that repeated use of the word or a sentence to lay emphasis, and the line used is no stir in the air, no stir in the sea. And the last one is used, the last poetic device used is anaphora, that is, her sails from heaven received no motion, her keel was steady in the ocean. So, here the word her is used 2 times. Now, let's move towards the second stanza. The second stanza says, without either sign or sound of their shock, the waves flowed over the Inchcape rock. So little they rose, so little they fell, they did not move the Inchcape bell. Now, the word meaning. Shock means the blow or the collision. Now the explanation of the second stanza. In the second stanza, the poet describes the mild sea waves. The waves of the ocean flowed over the Inchcape rock smoothly without creating sound of the warning bell or without making any impact on the rock. It was because the movement of the waves was so slow that it could not make the bell ring. The waves were not rising up high as they were not able to hide the dangerous Inchcape rock, as a result of which even the rising and falling of the waves could not make any sign or sound, as the level of water of the waves was very little. So they were gently flowing over the Inchcape rock without moving or ringing the Inchcape bell. Now the literary device. The literary device used in this stanza are: number 1, the rhyming scheme, which follows the pattern of AABB, which means that the line 1 and 2 has the same repetition, has one sound, and 3 and 4 has another sound in it. And the words are shock, rock, fell, and bell. Another literary device used in this stanza is alliteration, and the line used in this stanza are: number 1, without in either sign or sound of their shock. This is sign or sound. Then some scene is set. The third literary device used in this stanza is the visual imaginary, which means that some scene is set in your mind when you can visualize some setting of the poem in your mind. That is, the waves, the Inchcape rock, the Inchcape bell is the setting of the place. So the poet has created this imagery in your mind. The next one is the repetition, and the word is: so little they rose, and so little they fall. The fifth literary device is personification, where the waves are reflected to the speech, which refers to the juxtaposition of opposing or contrasting ideas. It involves the bringing out of the contrast in the ideas by an obvious contrast in the words, clauses, or sentences within a parallel grammatical structure and the lines. And the line is: so little they rose, and so little they fall. Let's move towards the third stanza. The abbot of Aberbrothock had placed that bell on the Inchcape rock. On a buoy in the storm it floated and swung, and over the waves its warning rang. Now the word meaning. Abbot is the head monk in a monastery. Buoy means an anchored float. And now let's move towards the explanation. The third stanza is about the great monk, abbot of Aberbrothock, and his benevolent deed of placing the warning bell. The abbot of Aberbrothock knew the danger of the submerged rock, so he had positioned or placed the bell on the Inchcape rock, so that he could save the life of the sailors. The bell was placed on a buoy. Whenever there was a storm, it floated on a buoy and ran wildly, swung by the high tides to alert everyone that the dangerous rock was there. So the mariners and their ship were saved from the shipwreck. Now we'll discuss the literary devices. The literary device used in this stanza are: number 1, rhyming scheme, which follows the pattern of AABB, which means the line 1 and 2 has the same sound, 3 and 4 has another sound in it, and the words are rock, Aberbrothock, swung and run. The next one is the sound image, which means that it is a figure of speech that reveals primarily on the sound of a word or phrase or the repetition of a sound to convey a particular effect, and the lines used in this stanza is and over the waves its warning run. The next literary device used is inversion. Inversion means, and inversion is also known as anastrophe. It's a literary technique in which the normal order of the words is reversed in order to achieve a particular effect of the emphasis, as here in this stanza is on a boy in the storm it floated and swung. Now let's move towards the third stanza. When the rock was hit by surge's swell, the mariners heard the warning bell, and then they knew the perilous rock and blessed the abbot of Aberbrothock. Now the word meaning. Surges means up and down as well as to and fro movement of the sea water. Swell means rise. Mariners means sailors. Then perilous means dangerous, and blessed means Old English form of blessed. Now the explanation. In the fourth stanza, the poet tells us about the utility of the bell, how the bell guided the sailors in the bad weather, on time of the hidden danger posed by the Inchcape rock that had submerged under water. The mariners approaching there would hear the ringing bell and understood the danger created by the hidden rock. The seamen could not see the rock as it stayed hidden under the high waves during the storm, but they could hear the ringing bells and went away from the dangerous rock. So the bells saved their lives. The reef of the mariners thanked the seafarers. All the mariners thanked and blessed the abbot for a good job. Now the literary device used in this particular stanza are number one, rhyming scheme, which is in the form of AABB. The next literary device used is the alliteration, and the words are surge is swell, and then they knew the perilous rock. The third literary device used is anaphora. Anaphora is a kind of parallelism, which means when you use some dramatical effect in a poetry, when you begin with the consecutive sentences with the same word, like in the stanza 3 and 4 begins with the word and so this is the literary device of anaphora. Now let us move towards the fifth stanza. The sun in the heaven was shining gay, all things were joyful on that day. The seabirds screamed as they wheeled around, and there was joyous in their sound. Now the word meaning. The word gay means happily, scream means yelled with joy, wheeled means flew in a circular motion, and joyous means the cheerfulness. Now the explanation. The fifth stanza delivers a cheerful atmosphere and a jubilant weather as it generally happens before any disaster. The sun was shining bright in the sky and everything was joyful on that day. The seabirds screamed as they flew in the circles above. Their chirping brought joy to all. Now the literary device used in this stanza are number one, the rhyming scheme, which is in the form of AABB. Number two, symbolism, means here in this line, symbolism reflects to the word heaven, which means sky. Symbolism is often used by the writers to enhance their writing. It can take many forms. It is the practice of practice or art of using an object or word to represent an abstract idea. The word used in this stanza is the heaven, meaning the sky. The fourth literary device used is the sound imagery. Sound imagery is a figure of speech that relies primarily on the sound of the word or phrase, on a repetition of sounds to convey a particular effect is known as figure of sound. And the lines in this stanza are: the seabirds scream as they feel around. Now we move towards the next stanza, that is the sixth stanza. The boy of Inchcape was seen, a darker speck on the ocean green. Sir Ralph the rover walked his deck and fixed his eye on the darker speck. Now the word meaning. Speck means the small spot. Rover is a sea parrot, and deck means the wooden platform floor in a ship. Now the explanation. In this stanza, the poem tells us about the boy and Sir Ralph approaching to the Inchcape rock. Sir Ralph is introduced for the first time on that fine day. The boy, that is an anchored floating sign to show the reef on the Inchcape rock, was clearly visible, like a dark speck on the green ocean. Means to say that it was a blackish spot in the green ocean. Sir Ralph the rover went unto the deck of his vessel and gazed at the dark spot of the boy. Now the literary device used in this stanza are: number one, the rhyming scheme, that is in the form of AA, baby. The second literary device used is inversion, that is a literary device or a technique in which the normal order of the words is revised in order to achieve a particular effect of emphasis, and the line in this stanza is used in this stanza is a darker speck on the ocean green. The next literary device used is the metaphor, which is used in this stanza is that Sir Ralph the rover walked his deck, which means that Sir Ralph strutted about proudly up and down the deck and has ships. Means to say that he walked with stiff, erect, and apparently arrogant and conceited joy. Now we move towards the seventh stanza. He felt the cheering power of spring. He made him whistle, it made him sing. His heart was mirthful to excess, but the rover's mirth was wickedness. The words used in the word meanings of this stanza are: number one, cheering means shouting out of joy or in praise of encouragement. Whistle means to whistle. Mirthful means joyful. To excess means greatly. Now in the seventh stanza, we see how Sir Ralph the rover was joyous over the pleasant spring weather. The feelings and thought of Sir Ralph the rover is dealt with. He was delighted and felt cheerful by the pleasant day in the spring season. He was making whistling sound and singing in joy. His heart was extremely joyful because he was overjoyed. However, no one knew that a sinful thought in his mind was behind this happiness. Hence, he was glad because of his wicked plan and his wicked intention. Now, the literary device used in this particular stanza are: number one, the rhyming scheme, which is in the form of AA, BB. Number two, onomatopoeia, that is the whistle. Onomatopoeia is a figure of speech wherein the words imitate the sound they describe, and the word in this stanza refers to the whistle, which is a high-pitched sound, is made by forcing breath or through a small hole between partly closed lips, or between the teeth. And the third literary device used in this poem is alliteration, that is, his heart. Now we move towards the eighth stanza. His eye was on the Inchcape float. Quoth he, my men, put out the boat and row me to the Inchcape rock, and I will plague the abbot of Rabindranath. Now the word meaning. The word plague means cause trouble or kill or destroy. Now the explanation. In the eighth stanza, we see the real wickedness of Sir Ralph the Rover, as the rover himself speaks and reveals his desire. His eyes were fixed on the floating point of the Inchcape rock. Sir Ralph the Rover ordered his crew, that is the sailors, to lower the boat and take him to the rowing the boat to the Inchcape rock. Then he says that he is going to plague me. He is going to plague, which means kill or destroy the good deed of abbot of Rabindranath. Now the literary device used in this stanza are: number 1, the rhyming scheme, that is in the form of AABB. Number 2, inversion, and the words are quoth he, my men, put out, boat. Number 3 is the anaphora, that is, and row me to the Inchcape rock, and I will plague the abbot of Rabindranath. The word and is used 2 times. Number 4 is the narrative rhythm. This is a pattern of story elements and associated structures that helps derive the readers a base through a book. The ballad is written in small stanzas of 4 lines within the rhyming scheme of AABB. There is a pause at the end of each line, emphasizing the regularity of the boat. The meaning comes in pairs of lines and thus fits the rhyme scheme, producing a regular flow of thought. This pattern helps the reader to experience a typical scene connected with the ship and the dangerous sea, and the line used in this stanza are: his eyes was on the Inchcape float, quoth he, my men, put out the boat, and row me to the Inchcape rock, and I will plague the abbot of Rabindranath. So, dear children, now from stanza 9 to 17, I'll discuss in part 2 of the Inchcape rock.